This is Intrepid Bear, a 40-foot sailboat off to explore the world with her crew Ian and Kate.
Come aboard and let's see what's out there.
Rolling on 1, rolling on 2, rolling on 3. Not sure I need to do a synchronisation clap, but I'm going to anyway. Right, hi, we thought we'd do a quick wash up of our year so far, seeing as it's almost New Year. I'll take my glasses off. We're going to do a little wash up of the year and talk about what our plans were, what actually happened, what our plans are going to be.
Well, this time last year we were getting excited to leave. Plans were to go down the UK coast and then to the Scilly Islands and then across from Falmouth to La Coruna and then Gibraltar. But
also you'll see back in episode 0.5, which is our introductory episode from February, I think it was, we had planned to go to Scotland. But we didn't go to Scotland because basically we just ran out of time. And what were we planning for the winter back in episode 0.5?
We were planning to spend the winter in Gibraltar so that we could reset our Schengen clock.
So we had hoped to go straight across from Falmouth to La Coruna in Spain and then down to Gibraltar. What actually happened is we went around to Brest, which you've already seen in the videos. We will actually cross and we'll end up in Spain. So we actually hopped along the north coast of Spain and then down the coast of Portugal, and turned out there was no space in Gibraltar despite having been promised a space. So we ended up in Portimao, which gave us some visa issues.
So yeah, I did some research and there was a visa, temporary stay visa for up to a year for financially independent people. Turned up the appointment in London, we told it didn't exist. That just changed everything.
So the reason we need a visa is Britain has left the European Union, which means we're now an outside country as far as the European Union is concerned. That means we can only stay 90 days in any rolling 180-day period in the EU. We've run out of that time now, so we were going to apply for a visa. The reason we wanted a visa specifically was because that stops your Schengen time. That didn't happen. Luckily, Portugal had some extensions in place which allowed us to stay to the end of December, and we've just found out they've extended pretty much everything so that people can stay till the end of March. So we are here in Portugal on the Algarve. What is it today? 29th of December. Shorts and t-shirts. So I'll show you some of Portimao area with an aerial shot perhaps and a view of the beach. But it's quite a nice spot and we're really happy to be here until the end of February is our current plan. So that's where we are. So on the way down, we had it in our mind that we would anchor quite a lot. Yeah, in the Rias it was all right. The Spanish Rias, we anchored a few times and it was quite nice. But on the north coast of Spain and the Atlantic coast of Portugal, there's always a really big swell and there are really few anchorages. And I suppose we should have foreseen that to a certain extent. But there were some anchorages such as Ribadeo on the north coast of Spain that looked like it was an anchorage. When I got there with 0.7 metres under the keel, I really wasn't happy, so we ducked into the marina there. So in terms of costs, our marina costs went up quite a lot, and also on fuel. We kept finding the wind wasn't right, and there were particular conditions on the Portuguese coast which meant we motored an awful lot more than we wanted to.
Yes, and on the Portuguese Atlantic coast there are only rivers and beaches. There's a long coast of beach with river outlets, so yes, you can anchor in some of the rivers there, but as Ian said, with the big Atlantic swell it wasn't really comfortable, and then we had the issue with the fuel that it was sort of 60 miles or so between each river.
Although we could have sailed between those points without using the engine, because they were quite treacherous river entrances and with the big swell running in, the river coming out, that can cause some nasty conditions. So we didn't want to arrive in those rivers after dark, so effectively at a 60-mile passage we really had to maintain 6 or 7 knots, so we had to motor to make it within the daylight. That affected our fuel burn as well.
The other reason for wanting to arrive during the daylight was those pesky fish.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing again, is the orcas. There have been numerous instances of orcas attacking sailboats. I think they're actually playing with sailboats, but their kind of play pulls your rudder off. So they've had the effect that we didn't really want to be out in the dark, but they also constrained us to a really narrow corridor down the coast of Portugal, because most of the attacks were between 2 kilometres and 8 kilometres offshore. If we had the wind dead behind us, we couldn't really tack down the coast because we'd be going out too far each time into the orca zone. So if we only had the wind behind us, that was quite rolly, quite a pain, and we ended up using the engine quite a lot for that as well. So fishing pots, orcas, night entries, or we wanted to make those passages in the daytime. So yeah, that was the Portuguese coast. Costs in general, I think this first year was really expensive, wasn't it?
Yes, massively so.
There was various things that we didn't really think of, and there were various other capital expenditure. So hopefully next year there won't be as much of that. And also next year we hope there'll be more anchoring and less marinas.
Yes, I mean, we were trying to budget this year, not really knowing what the cost would be. So we guesstimated what we'd spend each month on food and marinas and eating out. And
yeah, I mean, that was one of the big things from our point of view, is I've lived on boats for 10 years, Kate for 5, but still becoming a full-time cruiser was a big leap. So hats off to those people who've done it from just basically selling their house and then 6 months later off they go in a boat. That's a massive learning curve. It was enough of a learning curve for us, and we do boats and living aboard already. So yeah, that was quite significant how much of a learning curve it was. So, did you enjoy this season?
yes, I did. Yes, it's so much, and one of the nice things has been keeping a record by the videos and by Instagram, is that you can look back and see the amazing memories that we had. So
yeah, I didn't get myself in the moment as much as I should have done, and that's something I'm going to deal with or address next year. I kept looking for the next thing. In August, you think the weather's going to be glorious because you're in Spain. Well, it wasn't. It was basically the same as the UK. It was wet, it was foggy. We were sort of dashing onwards all the time because I was chasing the sunshine. Despite being a faded ginger, I loved the sunshine, and I wanted to catch the summer. And by the time we got across to northern Spain, it was midway through August and nearly September. So yeah, and also I was going to say, for me, I have to worry about whether the boat breaks down, where I'm going to get the parts from, all that sort of thing, if there's any breakages on the boat, compared to living in a marina back in the UK where you know everybody, you know everything, you know where to get the bits from. The boat was fine, although we blew up a battery because we were charging too much. I think it took me a long time to settle into the trip, but I've definitely got into it and definitely enjoy looking back at it. And when we turned that corner around Cabo San Vicente, Cape St Vincent, or Cape Fear as we call it, due to the 35 plus knots of wind and the big seas that rose up around there when we went round there. As soon as we came around there, it was like a different world. We were in summer then.
if you had to do 2 highs and 2 lows.
Go on then.
So my highs and lows, the best place for me on the way down was Porto. It's a stunning city, and I'm not really a city person, but I loved the city. It had an amazing vibe, and we spent nearly a week in Porto, and it was sunny then, so I really felt that was what I've been looking for, and to sort of be adventuring somewhere new. The other highlight for me was crossing Biscay in the middle of the ocean and realising that I'm a tiny dot in the middle of a big sea, and seeing shooting stars and things. That I did this adventure to challenge myself and to see things that I've only heard about or read about. So when you're actually in there, it's quite a special moment. My only real low lights were, I think, some of the storms in the UK. So yeah, but nice weather that interspersed with really rough weather and storms, and trying to find somewhere safe, and realising that even up a river we weren't necessarily safe. And so the uncertainty of the potential uncertainty of the future was a bit of a low for me. And also another low, which was kind of a bit high as well, I suppose, overcoming some fears, because I'm always anxious at the start of a passage. Ian tells me it's going to be fine, I'm sure it is, but until we're actually in it, I'm quite scared, and I think I've captured it. You'll see later on when we leave Porto, my anxiety was really bad, and I was near to tears at the thought of what it was going to be like in the waves at the time. So so the anxiety is a low point, but every passage we make, every sea state we're in, you improve. And then when we came around Cape Fear, or Cabo St Vincent as Ian referred to earlier, I wasn't as scared as I thought I would be, becoming a more rounded sailor.
I became a more rounded sailor because we drank too much and ate too much. We thought one of the things we thought is that we'd actually keep fit by sailing. That was one reason for having a sailboat over a motorboat. Fuel was the main reason. But actually thought I'd keep fit. But actually we ended up socialising far too much, drinking too much beer and eating too much junk. So since we've been in Portimao, we've been running and dieting and exercising, but that's really nice because the weather's really good, so we've been able to do it. But yeah, I'm definitely a more rounded sailor than I was before I left. But one thing that has been really nice is when I'm making these videos, I get to look back over our whole life, pick out the best bits and put them in the video, and that's been really good. So from the point of view of the videos, we're growing quite well. We've gone to episode sort of 10 now, about to come out just after this, and we're creeping up towards that magic 1,000 subscribers, which will mean that we might then be able to get a little bit of advertising money. But yeah, just learning all the time as I make the videos. Like, I've got 3 cameras set up here, so there's that one over there, this one talking to me, and that one talking to Kate. And I've got some different software from when we first started. As I'm really enjoying doing it, so I'm going to keep doing that. So I think that leads on to
next year.
Okay, so let's just leave next year really. What are our plans? They are broad plans like they were last year, because what does your dad say about sailors' plans?
A sailor's plans are etched in jelly.
So our rough plan for next year.
So we're leaving here at the beginning of March, and we're going to head straight towards Croatia, Albania, Montenegro, out of the Schengen zone.
Yeah, so our main aim for next year is to be in Greece, particularly at the end of June for our 5th wedding anniversary. We sailed to Paxos to get married on a charter boat, so it'll be really poetic to take our own boat in there for our 5th anniversary, and then there were people coming out to visit. But we'd also like our 3 months in Greece, and Greece is part of the EU and the Schengen, so we need that 3-month reset. So if we can spend March, April and May outside of the Schengen zone, so we should in a couple of weeks be able to get across to the countries that Kate mentioned, which are non-Schengen, explore them for 2.5 to 3 months, and then we can go into Greece 1st of June, and then we've got June, July and August in Greece.
Beyond August is to perhaps head over towards Turkey and Cyprus, that sort of way. I mean, we visit my dad who lives in Turkey, and we're currently thinking about wintering next year in Tunisia.
Yeah, but what we're not going to do next year is, we don't think, this year we booked 6 months for the winter, and we could have been sailing right up till the end of December in this part of the world. So we're probably not going to spend 6 months in a marina next year.
Yeah, it's too long.
It's too long. September, October, November in Turkey, Cyprus maybe, and then maybe December, January in Tunisia. Because one thing we want is a climate at least as good as this for next winter, because we don't like the wet, we don't like the cold. Yeah, watch the space. We're not going to be held to those plans. Other than that, really appreciate watching and everybody who's subscribed so far. And we're enjoying making the videos, so we'll keep doing it and we'll keep sailing. So yeah, that's our plans for next year. But we're enjoying the sunshine. Thanks everyone very much for tagging along.
And Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year. Yeah, definitely Happy New Year. Still looking for a party here on the Algarve. So yeah, watch out for midnight piping on New Year's Eve. Check us out on Instagram for that one. Follow Intrepid Birds, same as the YouTube channel. And yeah, have a good one, and we'll see you in 2022.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye then.
Bye 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 bye. Yeah, I'm using that. So that was a really quick look at our 2021, and this is our 2021 in 1 minute. Do keep following along and watching our videos, because there's still so much to see. Thanks for watching, we'll see you again soon.